Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, I'll be doing my Week 14 recap. Guys, we're like pretty much halfway through, so yeah, Week 14 recap is here. WNBA news, some trades that came down the line, a signing as well. We'll talk about that. Also, the Jimmy Butler saga continues. It's a mess. We'll talk about that as well. LeBron, once again, making history. A triple-double at the age of 40. So we'll talk about that. Victor Wembanyama goes back home to France. So we'll talk about that and those games that were played there. And so much more. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with the All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And guys, we are entering week 15, which means, of course, we have a week 14 recap here for you. A ton of news. So without any further delay, let's jump into it. So we will start, as we always do, guys, players of the week. And in the West, how about Jaren Jackson Jr. for the Memphis Grizzlies? His team went 4-0. They had all home games, by the way. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. They beat the Charlotte Hornets. They beat the New Orleans Pelicans and the Utah Jazz to go 4-0. Jaren for the week, over 25 points per game, over 6 assists, 2.5 assists. Did I say over 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and a block and a half per game. Guys, he was sensational from the field. Kind of under 58% from there. From three, he shot at 38%. And from the free throw line, he took 23 attempts and made 19. So you'll take that. So Jaren Jackson Jr., who in my previous episode, when I was predicting the reserves, I have a good feeling about him making the All-Star team. So we'll see what happens. Of course, the announcements come on Thursday, January 30th. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. And then for the East, how about Scottie Barnes, guys, for the Toronto Raptors? They went 3-0 for the week. They had a home game against Orlando and beat them. And then they went down to Atlanta and beat the Hawks twice. Scottie for the week averaged 22 points, under 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and nearly 2 steals per game for him. From the field, he shot it okay, just under 47%. From three, he's not all that proficient. He only took 11 attempts and made 4. And then from the free throw line, he attempted 21 and made 18. So you'll take that as well. But Scottie Barnes, a person who you can kind of make a case for him appearing in the All-Star game, but the competition's stiff, so we'll see what happens. But Scottie Barnes, your player of the week in the East. All right, guys, so let us continue. Let us go to our top. Before I get to the top stories in the NBA, let's talk a little WNBA, shall we? And guys, a lot has happened. You got a 3-way deal that took place, and here's how this went down. Kelsey Plum, longtime Las Vegas ace, and of course, she was initially drafted by the San Antonio Silver Stars, who would then move to Vegas and become the Aces. Kelsey Plum. So now she's on the move to Los Angeles to play with the Sparks, guys. And she played for the Aces 7 years. She was a Sixth Player of the Year, 3-time All-Star on the All-Rookie team, made an All-WNBA team, 2-time champion, and she was 3-time All-Star. She was actually an MVP in the All-Star game in 2022. So Kelsey Plum on the move to the LA Sparks, where she will join the likes of Cameron Brink over there, as well as Rakia Jackson. So they're two promising young players, as well as Dearica Hamby. So she joins that mix there. And then going to the Aces, how about Jewell Loyd? Jewell Loyd going there, guys. And Jewell Loyd, she was drafted in 2015, played all her career with the Seattle Storm, 10 years, was a Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-Star. She won an All-Star MVP award in 2023. 3 times All WNBA, 2-time champion. She led the league in scoring, not last season, but the year before in 2023. And she goes there along with a draft pick, 2025 pick that's coming from the LA Sparks, the 13th pick in the draft, by the way. But Jewell Loyd on the move to join A'ja Wilson. And you know, guys, they have that one viral moment at the end of the Celebrity All-Star Game, which actually happened last year, where they had that moment where their eyes locked and Jewell Loyd was joking around, and then when her eyes locked to A'ja Wilson, she got serious, and then they started talking and what have you. So, but now they are teammates. So she joins A'ja Wilson as well as Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, and those ladies over there. So Jewell Loyd made her trade request, and her wish was granted, guys, going to the Las Vegas Aces. And then to Seattle, the player going there, Yueru. And she's a center for the LA Sparks. She's on the move to Seattle. And also, they're getting the LA Sparks second pick in the draft. Seattle is getting. So Seattle getting a major piece. I think Seattle's seems like they're going in rebuild mode. If that's the case, you know, you have Onyeka Onwumike, who's going to be a free agent. So you don't have to sign her per se. And then Skylar Diggins-Smith, what do you do with her? I'm of the mindset, guys, if you're going to rebuild, might as well go all the way. Send Skylar Diggins-Smith to the Chicago Sky in return for their pick in the draft, which is the third pick in the draft. This way you get the second pick and you get the third pick, so you can't go wrong there. So I would do that. You probably have to send some salary over there as well, maybe a piece or two, but Skylar Diggins-Smith to Chicago would be a dream come true for Angel Reese and especially for Camila Cardozo. I think she could, with her ability, Skylar Diggins-Smith, who proved herself, she's playing well in the unrivaled league. That would be a major boon to both of those ladies in the front court over there for the Sky. So Seattle, if you're going to rebuild, might as well go all the way. So you could do it that way. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. But Yeah, so that is your trade, guys, as far as that goes. And then as I was preparing for this show, another trade went down, guys. Alyssa Thomas, the engine for the Connecticut Sun, she's headed to Phoenix via trade. And she'll be teaming with the likes of, well, right now it seems like she'll be just teaming with Diana Taurasi, provided she comes back. Kalia Copper. Uh, I thought maybe Brittney Griner, but I'll give you that news in a minute. But she is on the move. And here's the particulars of the deal. I got to pull it up because this is like just breaking news, guys. Here's the trade details. So, along with Thomas, they're also sending Tyasha Harris to the Phoenix Mercury, and the Connecticut Sun will receive Natasha Cloud. Ooh, that's big. And Rebecca Allen, and the 12th pick in the 2025 draft. So that's the pieces that's coming back. You know, they started reporting it on social media. Then they had the picture with all four of them there. I was like, do we even know if Brittney Griner's staying? Do we know if Diana Taurasi, whether she's going to retire or not? So that picture was kind of premature, but, and also in the picture was Natasha Cloud. Little did they know that she would be one of the prime pieces in bringing Alyssa Thomas over there. So Alyssa Thomas seems like now she is a Phoenix Mercury, which begs the question, what happens with Wembanyama? Because, you know, they're coupled up. So, and then remember too, guys, that is where Wembanyama started her career, in Phoenix. So does she go back to Phoenix? The possibilities are there. So we'll see what happens. But Alyssa Thomas on the move to the Valley of the Sun. And then this news just came through. Brittney Griner, 10-time All-Star. She spent all her career with the Phoenix Mercury, and it looks like she has agreed to a deal to play with the Atlanta Dream, guys. So she will join the likes of Ryan Howard, Alyssa Gray, and those ladies over there. So I thought maybe, you know, maybe you can, maybe she goes to maybe a Dallas, maybe in a sign and trade, but that wasn't to be. But Atlanta's a nice landing spot for her. So new coach over there. So Brittney Griner leaving the Valley of the Sun, headed to, as some would say, Hollywood South, Atlanta, to play for the Dream. So that's the move so far. I didn't see anything else come through. So we'll just leave it at that. But guys, that is your WNBA news. Let us continue on. Top stories in the NBA. What else can it be? Jimmy Butler. The saga continues, guys. So he returns. Well, he was supposed to return on Monday, January 27th, after a 2-game suspension in which he missed the team playing. So, and then from what I was told, I was talking with some buddies of mine, and it appears that 7-game suspension that he got, part of it was he was wearing like a Phoenix Sun type sneaker to the game. And of course, Pat Riley wasn't having that. He knows good and well that Jimmy Butler wants to go to Phoenix. So with that said, that's part of the reason he got suspended. So there's that. But he has a 2-game suspension. He comes back Monday, and he was told that, Jimmy, you're coming off the bench. Jimmy wasn't happy with it. And Pat Riley said, you know what? If you ain't happy with that, enough with you. So he is now suspended indefinitely. So, guys, it's just a waiting game pretty much until next week, Thursday, which is the trade deadline, February 6th. So, I can safely say, at least I think I can say, that he's played his last game as a Miami Heat. I think I'm confident in saying that. I think you will not see Jimmy Butler in a Miami Heat uniform any longer. So where he goes is still a mystery, guys. And at this point, I think Pat Riley will take whatever he can get at this point. I think it's still a difficult situation dealing him to Phoenix. If he were to go, you have to get Bradley Beal to agree to waive his no trade. He wants to go to Milwaukee Bucks, so you'll have to involve several teams. So we'll see what happens. But the Jimmy Butler situation is a mess. I heard the guys on Inside the NBA talk about it. Shaq is fully in Jimmy Butler's corner with all the antics and all his carrying on. Shaq is in his corner. But the rest of the Inside the NBA folks are not. Charles Barkley, he said what he's doing is a disgrace. Kenny Smith as well. Even Ernie Johnson got in the mix to say, you got to honor your contract. So Shaq is alone on the island over there as far as supporting Jimmy, but Shaq should know better. Look at the stuff that Jimmy's pulling. I mean, come on. So, and then you have some people say, oh, he has the right to do that. Pat Riley didn't give him any help. Really? Is that what we're doing? The man signed a contract. That's got to be worth something. I'm just saying. So you play out your contract until you go elsewhere. That's the way you do it. So that's the Jimmy Butler situation. Let us move on. And by the way, Phoenix made a trade with Utah to get 3 additional draft picks in exchange for a unprotected 2031 draft pick. So pretty much Phoenix is preparing themselves just in case they bring in Jimmy Butler, at least get some additional assets. So there's that. All right, so let us continue. Victor Wembanyama, he goes back home to France, guys, in a 2-game series against the Indiana Pacers. In game 1, he absolutely shows out. San Antonio wins that game, 140-110. And with that, they had a huge third quarter. I mean, they were still winning regardless, but the third quarter, they had absolutely blew them out the water, where they scored 45 points in that third quarter to Indiana's 23. Wemby in that game, 30 points. Very solid from the field. He hoists up threes. So he had 4 of those. 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 blocks, guys, for the San Antonio Spurs. And then Devin Vassell, he had 25 points. He dropped 5 threes in the game, along with 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And leading the way for the Pacers was Ben Mathurin with 24 points. So game 1 goes to San Antonio. Game 2, Indiana returns the favor and beats them. Well, Indiana got beat by 30. They beat San Antonio by 40, 138-98. And in the first half, they finished where they were up by 15, but the fourth quarter is where they absolutely demolished them, outscoring them 38-12. So Indiana gets the win. Tyrese Halliburton in that game drops 28 points, including 6 threes in that game, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And then remember, for Tyrese Halliburton, he returns to the scene of the crime, so to speak, where the Team USA gets the gold medal. So in Olympics that he hardly played in, to be honest with you. So that's a story for another day. So he leads the way for Indiana. Pascal Siakam with a nice game, a double-double, 23 points, 11 rebounds. Add to that 3 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. Wemby in that game, just 20 points, along with 12 rebounds and 2 assists. I believe he just had 1 block in that game. And then Harrison Barnes, he led them in scoring with 25 points and 7 rebounds. So nice homecoming for Wemby. And actually, while he's there, he dedicates the court out there as well. So Victor Wembanyama doing the right things, going back home and just enjoying himself. So that is your news there. LeBron James, he drops a triple-double at the age of 40. And he does this in a January 21st win versus the Washington Wizards. Mind you, the night before, he was at the college football championship game, the game between Ohio State, who he was rooting for, and Notre Dame. And Ohio State gets the win, so he's a happy camper. So he comes back and he drops a triple-double. 21 points, 13 rebounds, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. And he joins Karl Malone as the only 2 players in NBA history to accomplish this at the age of 40. So LeBron James, once again, entering rarefied air and getting that win. And then AD, he basically led the way, 29 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. A dominating game against the Wizards to get the win. But LeBron James, once again, making history. Let us continue on. Injury news, guys. Brandon Ingram, he's still without a timetable as far as his return, guys, for the New Orleans Pelicans. He's been out since December 7th with an ankle sprain. So not sure what's going on with Ingram. Will he be back anytime soon? We'll see. But and it seems like he's a slow healer as is anyway. So not sure when we'll see him back on the court. Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors, he has now been moved to day with that calf injury he sustained. So it could be this week you see Draymond Green back in the lineup. We'll see what happens. And then a teammate of his, Jonathan Kuminga, he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, guys. And this is all due to that ankle sprain that he suffered. So Jonathan Kuminga, still a little ways away before you see him back on the court. So there you have it for the Golden State. Cam Johnson for the Brooklyn Nets. He's to be evaluated in a week, guys, and he has an ankle issue. So Cam Johnson, you thought maybe he'll get back on the court, but they're playing it cautious over there in Brooklyn. So Cam Johnson, at least a week away from seeing action. So there's that. Dereck Lively II. Now, you know Dallas has had their share of injury woes. Add Dereck Lively to the mix. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, guys, with an ankle stress fracture. So, seems like the ankle injuries are prevalent. So, Dereck Lively II, who was having a promising season, sophomore season, but that's to be halted for the moment. And then Max Kleber for the Dallas Mavericks. When it rains, it pours, guys. He's going to be out indefinitely with a broken foot, which he suffered on January 25th in a loss to Boston. So, tough blow for the Mavericks. They're lacking size. I mean, right now they're relying on Daniel Gafford, a little bit of P.J. Washington. They're hoping to get Dwight Powell back, longtime Maverick, so he can assist as far as, being in that rotation of bigs. But as of now, you're without 2 for the time being. Dereck Lively and Max Kleber for the Dallas Mavericks. Brandon Miller, guys, for the Charlotte Hornets. He was having a promising sophomore season, but he's now had season-ending surgery on his wrist. So, Brandon Miller out for the rest of the season, guys. So, this opens up opportunity, guys, for guys like Nick Smith Jr., guys like Josh Okogie, who they just picked up recently. So, Josh Green as well. He's another one who can take advantage of this. You probably will have to rely more on Miles Bridges. So we'll see what happens with that. But Brandon Miller out for the season, unfortunately. We wish the kid well and speedy recovery. And speaking of Charlotte, LaMelo Ball. He's been healthy all season, guys. But he left the game in the second quarter with an ankle sprain. And this is during a loss against the Lakers. So diagnosis to be announced. So I'm sure they're going to play it cautious with LaMelo Ball. They're not going to, he's another one who's a slow healer. So LaMelo Ball, tough blow for that team, that's for sure. So they'll have to sustain for the moment. But LaMelo Ball with an ankle sprain. How long? We'll find out. Now let's talk about some players that's returning or has returned. Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. Remember, he missed the 20 games with the oblique tear. He made his return to the lineup on January 23rd in a loss to Portland. In that game, he has 20 points and 4 rebounds. So, Franz Wagner back for the Orlando Magic, and not a moment too soon. They need all hands on deck. They just recently got Paolo Banchero back. Now you have his front court mate in Wagner. So, maybe this will help the fortunes of the Orlando Magic. Jordan Clarkson of the Utah Jazz. He returns, guys, after missing 10 games with a foot injury. And he does that against Milwaukee on January 27th. So we'll see what happens in that game. But Jordan Clarkson back for the Utah Jazz. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, he rejoins the lineup for the Oklahoma City Thunder following a 5-game absence due to a calf injury. And in the game he comes back, it's against Portland. He ends up with 14 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. So Isaiah Hartenstein back in the swing of things, getting him a double-double in his return for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So All right, guys. So that's it for that. We'll go through some top performances and some other news here. We had the 8-game slate on Martin Luther King Day, including my Knicks, who got the win over the Atlanta Hawks at the Garden. But there were 5 blowout wins, including actually, man, you could call the Knicks game kind of a blowout win. They win by 9. And then 3 close games, including one that went into overtime. It was a game between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Utah Jazz. And in that game, CJ McCollum goes nuts. 45 points, of which he hits 5 threes, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. Wow. Nice for CJ McCollum to get the win over the Utah Jazz. Nikola Jokic, another week, another bunch of double-doubles. Well, not double-doubles, triple-doubles, rather. He has one on January 21st in one of those rivalry games because it was rivalry week, by the way, guys. So you have that. And of course, the Knicks playing Atlanta, that's a rivalry game. So you have that. But this was a game against Philly at Denver. And Jokic, 27 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, and then add to that 4 steals for the triple-double for the Denver Nuggets. And on the losing side, Tyrese Maxey, 28 points, 10 assists for him. So he has a double-double along with 2 steals. But the Denver faithful, they went into a chant asking for Embiid. Where's Embiid? Joel Embiid has not played a game in Denver since 2019. Let that sink in, guys. 2019 is the last time he played a game in Denver. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's don't look good. Yeah, but that's the story with that. And then he has another triple-double 2 nights later, and this is a huge one, guys. 35 points, 22 rebounds. Man. And then add to that 17 assists. Throw in 2 blocks just for spite. In a win over the Sacramento Kings. In a game where Domantas Sabonis, he has a monster game. 23 points, 19 rebounds, 8 assists for him. And then DeMar DeRozan with 24 points and 6 rebounds. But the Joker with yet another triple-double for the week. So there's two in the books for him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he hits his career high last week on January 22nd against the Utah Jazz at home. He drops 54 points along with 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks for the win. And then supporting him is Jalen Williams with his 25 points. And then you get a couple of double-doubles on the other side for Utah Jazz. John Collins, who's been playing good, 22 points, 12 rebounds. Walker Kessler, 17 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocks for him. People, they talk about Anthony Edwards being like the next Jordan and all this kind of stuff as far as that goes. What about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's much more proficient from the field? He's more Jordan-like than Anthony Edwards, in my estimation. He's efficient from the field. He's not shooting a ton of threes, but he shoots just enough. And he gives you all these all-around numbers. So, I don't know. People hang their labels on this one and that one without any rhyme or reason. But I think SGA is more closer to a Jordan than Anthony Edwards. I'm just saying. What do I know? Anyhow, that's my little diatribe. Let me continue on. And then Domantas Sabonis. He has some week, guys. He has 26 points, 18 rebounds in a January 2nd win over the Golden State Warriors for the Sacramento Kings. And DeMar DeRozan, he has a monster game, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And then leading the way for Golden State is Andrew Wiggins with his 25 points, and of which he has 5 threes. Let's continue on here. I talked about Franz Wagner, guys. Both he and Paolo Banchero each have 32 points in a win over the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit's been a fly in the ointment all year long, but the combination of Banchero and Franz Wagner gets it done against that team. And leading the way for the Pistons, Cade Cunningham. Who else? 35 points, 11 assists, so he has a double-double along with 5 rebounds. Amen Thompson, he drops a double-double. I keep saying double-double. Amen Thompson drops a triple-double, his second of his career, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, and throw in 2 blocks. And he does it in a January 25th win at Cleveland, beating the top team in the league, guys. Houston's been playing great, guys. They've been playing great. So, Amen Thompson playing well in the starting position. I don't know, when Jabari Smith comes back, it's going to be hard to see Amen Thompson. He's just been playing well. And then also supporting him, you get 26 apiece from Jalen Green, of which he has 5 threes, and then Alperen Sengun, he has 26 as well, guys. Leading the way for the Cavaliers, their backcourt, guys. Darius Garland, 39 points. Woo! 9 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and then Donovan Mitchell, he drops 33 points along with 7 assists and 4 rebounds for him. Josh Hart, you know, I've been talking about him as of late. He has a triple-double, guys. 20 points, 18 rebounds, guys. Remember, this guy is only 6'4", and he's pulling 18 rebounds along with 11 assists for the triple-double, and throw in 2 blocks as well. And he does this on a Saturday night, January 25th, in a win over the Sacramento Kings. In a game where you had 3 other guys score over 20 points. OG Anunoby with 33. Then you had Mikal Bridges with his 27 points, of which he hits 5 threes. And then Jalen Brunson with a double-double. 25 points, 11 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, he's still dealing with that thumb, guys, but he has 18 points along with 15 rebounds. In a game where Domantas Sabonis has a triple-double. 25 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists for him. And then Malik Monk, he's been playing great, guys. 31 points, 9 assists, and 3 rebounds in the loss. James Harden drops a 40-piece. He does that in a January 25th win versus the Milwaukee Bucks. So he drops 40 along with 9 assists, 5 rebounds. And then Norman Powell, you know, I've been talking about him, 33 points and 6 rebounds for him. Leading the way for the Milwaukee Bucks, Dame Lillard, he has a triple-double. 29 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds for Dame. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, 36 points and 13 rebounds. So he gets the double-double. So, all right, guys, that's your top performances for the week. Let us move on. Guys, Saturday night, I was at Barclays Center witnessing Vince Carter. He gets his number 15 jersey retired, guys. It's sent into the Raptors for the Brooklyn Nets. And this happens on, like I said, Saturday night in a game versus the Miami Heat, a game in which they lost. Let me talk about the ceremony itself. Iron Eagle, their play-by-play man, he was the master of ceremonies. And you also had a keynote speaker, Julius Erving, whose jersey hangs up in the Raptors his years as a New York Net. So he's up in the Raptors as well. Teammates were on hand to congratulate him. Actually, Devin Harris and many more were there. So you had that. There was some video tributes from Jason Kidd, who, of course, gave him many of lob passes and passes in general to Vince Carter. And then also Richard Jefferson. He came and did a video congrats to Vince Carter. So Vince Carter, in his 5 years with the Nets, he averaged over 23.5 points per game, nearly 6 rebounds, almost 5 assists, and well over a steal per game. He was a 2-time All-Star for the Brooklyn Nets. Well, they were the New Jersey Nets at the time, but Vince Carter gets his jersey hung up in the Raptors in what was a very fine ceremony, guys. He spoke as well, he thanked most of the people, remember he was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, so he was doing his thank you there. But, he thanked a lot of the Nets folks and all who were there and so forth. So Vince Carter, immortalized by the Brooklyn Nets with his jersey up in the Raptors. And the game itself, kind of a letdown, to be honest with you. It was myself there, friend of the show, D. We went. And, he was funny. He was saying he hate to agree with Charles Barkley, but, the product tonight sucked. And I said, yeah, it was like on the break, the Nets that, it wasn't about a 3-man weave or, going to the basket. It was come down, kick it out to 3-point shooters. And they shot it horribly, guys. They must have missed. They missed at least 30 shots from 3. It was bad, guys. So, on the other hand, Miami, they were a little more efficient, and there was times where I was like, "Why? How is this game even close?" But in the end, Miami pulls it out. Tyler Hero had a nice game for them. Bam Adebayo, who I've been talking about him not playing so great, but he had a good game that night. So, that product, it wasn't all that tantalizing. But I was there more so for the jersey ceremony for Vince Carter. So there you go. All right, so let us move on. Speaking of jersey retirements, Andre Iguodala for the Golden State Warriors, he's going to have his number 9 jersey retired, guys. And this is going to happen next month, actually, February 23rd. So I'll definitely be trying to catch a glimpse of that ceremony there. Not going to the game, of course, but watching it some kind of way. And there'll be He'll be the seventh person in franchise history to have their jersey retired. Of course, you got others waiting in the wings, at least three guys, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. I'm sure those jerseys won't hang up there, that's for sure. Along with the coach, I'm sure they'll do something for him as well. He spent 8 years there, guys. And in those 8 years, 4 championships, and the 1 year where he won Finals MVP in 2015. So I have no issue with Golden State retiring Iguodala's jersey. Some guys will be like, what are we doing here? But this guy actually, the numbers don't really leap out at you as far as his averages and those sort of things, but he was a valued asset for that Golden State Warriors team during those runs. So Andre Iguodala next month will be immortalized by the Golden State Warriors. Let us continue on. A few more items and then we'll be done, guys. A couple of deaths in the NBA family, guys. Gus Williams. Now, Gus Williams, he's the older brother of Ray Williams, former Knick, former Boston Celtic at one time. We won't talk about that issue, but Gus Williams, he passes on January 15th at the age of 71. And it's actually 5 years after he has he has a stroke. So, the recovery from that could be touch and go, but Gus Williams passes, guys. He was known, his nickname was the Wizard. He played 11 years in the league. He was drafted by the Golden State Warriors in the second round, coming out of USC. He played 2 seasons there, and then he became a free agent. He signed with Seattle, and the rest, as they say, is history. He spent 6 years there, did capture a championship while there, 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, once first team, once second team, and they did win the one championship. And him and Dennis Johnson formed one of the potent backcourts back in those times, guys. And then he would later get traded from Seattle, traded to the Washington Bullets at the time. That was their name. And he was traded for Tim McCormick and Ricky Sobers. He spent 2 seasons in Washington. He went to Atlanta for 1 year. And then after that, he was out of the league. So Gus Williams passing. So condolences to the Williams family on his passing and prayers of comfort and strength. And then Harold Katz. He's the former owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. He owned them from 1981 to 1996. And he passes on January 24th, guys. He is actually the founder of the Nutrisystem. It was a popular weight dieting system from back in those times there. So, yeah, and then within his time, they did win a championship. The Sixers did in 1983. So he did have some championship runs as far as that goes. But Harold Katz, he passes, guys. So condolences to his family and, prayers of strength. All right, and then Mike Tirico, guys. He's named the lead play-by-play announcer for the NBA on NBC and on Peacock for next season. So Mike Tirico, who was with ESPN and ABC, where he did similar work for the NBA. He actually did 6 finals on ESPN radio. So now he is the lead play-by-play announcer for their broadcast on select games on NBA on NBC and on Peacock. So Mike Tirico, as you know, he's the voice of Sunday Night Football for NBC, so it just seemed like a natural move to have him there in that spot. So Mike Tirico, congrats to you on getting this position here as the lead play-by-play guy. All right, so last things, as always, my big five. A changing of the guards, guys. On top is OKC, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have now shifted, now that Cleveland actually had a bad week last week. So OKC, they held the fort. Now you're getting a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein. He's back, so that's a help to them. Not sure how close Holmgren is to coming back, guys. We'll see. But Oklahoma City Thunder, they're rolling, guys. So they're number one. Followed by the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're just like a loss behind in the win-loss column. So, but Cleveland's still up there amongst the top teams. Third, Boston. They haven't moved from their spot as team in third. Fourth, Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets playing well, guys. And like I said, they were able to go into Cleveland and get a win. So, Ime Udoka, you have to put him, well, between him and Kenny Atkinson, it's going to be a close race. But he's definitely in the running. And then fifth, I got two teams there, my New York Knicks and Memphis Grizzlies, who pretty much actually have the identical records. So there's that. So there you go. All right, guys. So that is it for me. I know I owe you the Knick mid-season grades episode. I'll have that coming down the pike. So just look out for that. Guys, you know how to get to me. All things basketball with GD.com is the website. There, all the episodes, the shorts, support buttons are there, guys. I have the scroll there, as you know. Every show I have the scroll down there, so you can go back and watch and see the scroll here for all my support. It's actually on my website where I have a support page with all the buttons there. Buy me a coffee, PayPal, and Spotify donate. So all those are there. My Cash App, $GD, that's Sports Dude. Again, $GD, that's Sports Dude. Email, that's sportsdudegd@gmail.com. You can reach me there. You can give show ideas and kudos and all those sort of things. I will actually read your emails if you were to send them. So that'd be nice. Also, YouTube, I'm there as well. I also put my videos on LinkedIn. You know, I have the link there as well. Also, podcast platforms. I'm on them all, guys, including Apple. You can leave a review. 5 stars. Wherever you see it, 5 stars, guys, please. And then on social media, which is a jungle these days, TikTok, Instagram. I'm still keeping my eye on Instagram because, you know, things are happening. Facebook, I'm not really present there. Also, Twitter, not present at all. Blue Sky, I'll post there. Fan base, I'm still figuring it out. So it's a work in progress. So with that said, I thank you for listening. As always, your listenership is important to this show. So it's much appreciated. Each and every one of you, I thank you. And we'll talk soon. Take care.